Buddy, there he is. And by the way, Steve M, thank you for the Bitcoin love. A little cash app at Cash Big O Show, making that Bitcoin donation. Thank you. You figured it out. Way to go. We love a little Bitcoin donation. How much Bitcoin do you own there, Omar?
0.
Oh, well, guess what? Tua Tagovailoa, your thoughts on what's developed, unfortunately, with his third concussion. Now it's official that it is a concussion. He wasn't just in protocol. It's been diagnosed as a concussion now, Omar. What do you think?
Totally surprised. I'm looking at my watch because I'm trying to figure out what time they practice today. Concussion doesn't necessarily mean the fact that he's in the protocol. That doesn't necessarily mean that he won't be practicing. I remember
he's done. Bridgewater starts this week. He already said it. So he's done for this week. And it's like they need to worry about his health more than anything else. I think they're going to put him on the shelf for the rest of the year, Omar. That's what I think they're going to do. It's 3 concussions, dude. You can't put him at risk to get a 4th. You got to let his brain rest in the offseason. That's what I think at this point is what you have to do. But your thoughts?
I don't know how I feel about any of that. And it's not a selfish thing. It's just, you'd have to hear from the player. And, until obviously he's suffering from some effects of concussion. I don't know what it is, sensitivity to light. I don't know. These head injuries and head issues, and I've just heard so many traumatic stories. They're always scary. But you can't sit there and sort of tell a player how he should feel or what he should do in his case, in his situation. And I know we want to sit here and say, "Oh, we're going to protect Tua from himself." And
well, he does need it, Omar. That play was 4.81 seconds, and we've talked about this before. All of his injuries, hip, ankles, concussions, they all have come in that 4 to 5 second range.
Here's a question: Did he feel the effects of a concussion during that game? And I don't know the answer to that.
Well, did you see those interceptions in the second half?
I can't put those interceptions on a concussion because those interceptions just look like a defense that figured out the offensive scheme.
Well, that's what everybody else thought, but obviously they were so bad. They weren't figuring it out, Omar. He was burning them in the first half when he didn't have a concussion.
Yeah, and then you make halftime adjustments, and then you make adjustments about how a team is playing you.
He played 6 straight quarters of really good football. He played all 4 good quarters in Buffalo.
Yeah, but you know what? And this is where, yes, this is the first game that I will say you will have put others on him. I would say this one's on him. The interceptions, and I was just discussing this on Twitter, and I truly do believe it. There are times when opposing defenses get a book on you and figure you out and figure out what your strengths and how you're attacking them. And I forget which game it was, probably Texans or Cleveland. People have been stacking the middle of the middle of the field, trying to take away those passing lanes from Tua, forcing him to throw outside or deep. And
none of that mattered, my brother. They figured that out in the last 6 weeks. The last 6 quarters, they were just fine.
No. He capitalized.
That conversation, if Buffalo's a much better defense than, except for San Francisco, better than the Chargers and better than the Packers.
Different conditions, you play a different game.
There was no snow on the field at that time. It was fine. The conditions were just cold.
Didn't it like rain or snow during that game?
At the end of the game, in the fourth quarter is when it started. In the second half of the fourth quarter is when it started. But most of that game was clean.
Just because you had success against Buffalo.
My point is, Buffalo could have done the same thing that the Chargers and San Fran did, and the kid played fantastic for 4 quarters. Everybody else lost that game, not Tua. And so then he comes back against Green Bay and he's smoking them like nothing in the first 2 quarters. Obviously, he's concussed because he throws these really stupid interceptions.
Don't say obviously. Did you watch that game and say, "Oh, he must be concussed"?
I didn't know he was concussed. But
okay, then don't say that. If nobody knew he was concussed, then you don't say obviously he was concussed. No, I say.
No, I do say obviously, Omar. We have hindsight, my brother. He's concussed. He's in the concussion protocol. So he was concussed.
He's got headaches, so he's in the concussion protocol. He's got sensitivity to light, so he's in the concussion protocol. It doesn't necessarily impact your decision making.
Dude, you don't know what's wrong with him. You keep throwing this stuff out. Those are symptoms that you're pulling out of your ass. You have no idea.
Neither do you. Neither do you.
I'm not assuming,
so to sit here and say
I'm not assuming what his symptoms are. I'm just going by what they have.
No. You went a step further and you blamed his interceptions on his concussions. All I said was we don't know the symptoms. So how do we sit here and say that? Clearly, those 3 interceptions were
the 2 out of the 3, because the other one might have been the running back's fault. But the other 2 were so bad. He doesn't throw those kind of interceptions. Those things were absolutely horrible.
Yes, he does.
And
he
you're
threw
talking
them last
about
year.
This is his third concussion. So it's compounding the problem. So it's probably getting worse for him as he adds a concussion.
He's not becoming dumber by the concussion. His decision making isn't drastically impacted by the concussion.
I've had a concussion, my brother.
So hold on. Time out. Hear me out. So you're sitting there. He's hearing a play call, regurgitating the play call to his team, calling audibles and checks. He's not out there calling the wrong play, because clearly, if he's out there calling the wrong play or doesn't identify what they're talking about, he's concussed. He's calling plays, executing the offense. Nobody's looking at him like, what's wrong with memory? And now all of a sudden his gameplay, his performance is impacted because clearly he had a concussion, so he threw 3 interceptions. No.
Okay. All right. So then
I'm more along the lines of
what you're saying.
No, I'm more along the lines of, and I've said this to you last week and probably said to you the week before, teams have caught on to their offense. And yes, it's feast or famine. It's absolutely, you take out the slants, you take out the
Omar, how can they catch up to their offense when they played 6 lights out quarters of offense?
Okay. Did Green Bay beat them? Did Green Bay pull off interceptions?
In the second half, when he was concussed and throwing
when you make
away
second
the ball.
half adjustments, when you see what they're doing and how they're attacking you and how they're playing you and what they're leaning towards, and then you make the adjustments. That's what you hope that Josh Boyer would do.
Okay,
that's what you hope that good defensive coordinators
Omar
do.
Kelly doesn't believe that Tua was concussed. He just played like shit. They figured him out.
No, Omar doesn't believe that the concussion was the reason that he played like shit. Omar believes that defenses have caught on to Josh McDaniels' offense and how Tua plays and how they attack teams and the timing routes. And if they jam
that only stands if they did it in Buffalo in the first half of Green Bay. They did not do that.
Maybe Buffalo didn't have
the Buffalo loss was all on Trent Sherfield, Hill for dropping it, the coach for dropping the run, going for a 2-point conversion. All of those things are the reasons why they lost that game.
What about the Chargers loss?
Tua was terrific in that game overall, and he was terrific in the first half against Green Bay.
Okay.
I mean,
and what
for
about
6 straight quarters, the kid was lighting it up.
And what about the 49ers loss? And what about
No. Those 2 games, well, the 49ers have a hell of a defense, so you got to give them credit. They figured it out. You know what I mean? Like, by the way, McDaniel has lost to all 3 of his coworkers. Okay, he lost to Salah.
Yeah, they have a very intimate knowledge of the offense. Yeah.
So he lost to all.
I don't disagree with you.
Brandon Stanley doesn't have any knowledge of the offense, and he's the one that actually played them pretty straight up and figured them out in a way, and he did not counter. But in the Green Bay game,
isn't Brandon Staley from the same tree?
They were running their offense.
Isn't Brandon Staley from the same tree that McDaniels is from?
Who?
Staley.
Who?
Brandon Staley.
No, he's not. No, he's not. But anyway, either way, my point is, so you think that the concussion had nothing to do with his performance?
I'm not connecting the dots. I didn't look at those interceptions and say, oh, clearly he's concussed. And I don't want to sit here and play hindsight, changing my tune of my story because it's convenient. No, I believe the same thing that I believe exiting that game, which is that teams have caught on to their offense, and Staley is part of Staley and the Green Bay Packers coach. They're part of the same little coaching tree where they talk same concepts and same offenses, and they know who McDaniels is, and he has to adjust. And I say that to the second half of this season. I mean, not the second half of the season, but these final 2 games. Yes, you're going to be playing possibly Teddy Bridgewater this week, and who knows what happens moving forward, but McDaniel has to adjust. McDaniel has to adjust. It's not just all on the quarterback, and it never is all on the quarterback. The offensive coach has to adjust. So same thing with the defensive coach.
Well, that I agree with because I've blamed McDaniel a lot for the losses that have happened over the last couple of weeks, except for San Francisco, because he schemed that perfectly. Tua was completely off the game against San Francisco. Everything else, he's been outcoached. And in this game also, I mean, you're gouging them for 9 yards a run, and you come up to 3rd and 3, and you pass again and fail. And as Poupart came out with the stat, I mean, they were on 3rd and short. They have failed almost every time except when they run, pretty much, in that game. Against Buffalo, they failed 8 times. Yeah, they failed 8 times on 3rd and short, and the only time 7 of the 8. And the only time they succeeded was on a run. So he has to also take advantage of the run whenever it happens to be working. He gets away from it, which is the weirdest thing, which from a guy that comes from a run-based offense, he goes away from the run, which is really baffling. Really baffling.
You know what?
But then again, Kyle Shanahan did the same shit. He's in the Super Bowl leading Tom Brady by 25 points, and the idiot keeps passing the ball and stopping the clock and giving it back to Brady, who keeps scoring, and he abandons the run, and he ended up losing the Super Bowl because of that. And McDaniel has developed, has that same bad habit of being so in love with the pass that he drops the run.
Here's my thing, and this is one thing that I'm kind of bullish on. And this is not to and on, so you can call off your dogs, but everybody, yes, concussions, yes, durability concerns, but let's not pretend like he hasn't been the top-rated quarterback in the NFL for the majority of this season, and still sits in that driver's seat at 105.5, right ahead of Patrick Mahomes at 105.1. Coming into this season, if you would have told me that we would be looking at a quarterback who statistically or ratings wise is on par with Patrick Mahomes, I would have said you're a liar. You're an absolute fraudulent hypocrite. You probably would have said that, and I would have told you. You probably would have said that, and I would have told you that you're delusional. Well,
I think he's can be an elite passer.
He's shown he can be an elite passer.
My problem with him has always been his body is the only problem that he has, bro. That's the only problem he has.
He's the number one passer in the NFL right now. The knocks on his game are very minimal, with taking out durability. And the question is, can you lean on him moving forward? And I certainly am not ready to say no, you can't. But I'm kind of bullish on who I think he can be. Now, if everybody else wants to jump off the bandwagon, even though most people haven't even jumped on the bandwagon, cool. But you can't ignore what you've seen in this one season with solid coaching and a respectable offensive line and he's a better run game, not a good run game. He's a very dangerous quarterback.
I truly believe that now the sad part for him and Lee Steinberg is they've played their way out of an extension now. Now they're going to have to play year 4.
Hold on. You
And
were giving him a $200 million extension this offseason?
if he would have stayed healthy and had a great year,
No,
yes.
no, no. Just answer the question. Yeah,
Yes.
before the concussion, let's say he gets to the playoffs, loses one game, wins one game, loses one game. You're giving him a $200 million contract extension?
Yeah, if he wouldn't have had the injury history, yes. Yes, definitely. Oh, for
I
sure.
wouldn't
But
have.
with the
I wouldn't
injury,
have done it.
with the injury history, you now have to force him to play next year and play injury free. It has to be a year where
No matter what, I wouldn't have done it. I would have opted into my 5th-year option, and then next year I would have, because I'd have you for at least 3 years from now. Why am I giving you a new deal?
You could do that. You could still tag him or option whatever I
Yeah,
want.
no. I didn't believe he had, and no shade. I know I don't want to get too anon on me. I didn't think he had earned a $200 million contract. I don't want to go the route of Arizona and give a guy a $200 million contract before I'm absolutely certain that he is without a doubt the next quarterback for the next 10 years.
Well, there's a huge difference between the two, because one of them you have to worry about professionally. That's why you don't give him the $200 million contract.
That's not even why I'm worried. I wouldn't have given Kyler Murray that contract to begin with. But that's
but I get that. But I wouldn't have given it to him because professionally, I'd be super concerned with the kid. Plus, he hasn't even done what Tua did this year. He's never ever done what Tua's done.
I'm not giving a quarterback a $200 million contract till he wins me a playoff game.
Well, you just said he would win one and then lose in the second
round.
Yeah,
but I probably still wouldn't have given it to him. I would have.
First you say it and now you don't. And
no. I said that to you to present that scenario. I don't think in my mind, I don't think they're going to win a playoff game
without the injuries. And he runs the table like that. Hell yeah, I would give him the contract.
Nah, he ain't running the table. Come on, bro.
With the injuries, you can't give it to him, unfortunately, because
he wasn't running
it's not whether he can prove if he can play. He has to prove that he can actually stay healthy. He has to prove that he can learn to be responsible, because he told you that he would get rid of the ball. And then for a couple of weeks,
on the play that they showed that he potentially got hurt on, okay, it's a run-of-the-mill play. He buys time, evades, gets out of the pocket, and then his head dribbles on the ground. How do you stop that? His head can dribble on the ground?
You know how you stop that? You get rid of the ball before you did anything else.
You become Jay Cutler and start playing hot potato.
No, you become Dan Marino.
I don't want that quarterback.
Oh, you don't want Dan Marino?
No, he ain't Dan Marino. I don't want a quarterback. I don't want a quarterback that's playing hot potato with the football.
Oh, so you don't want Dan Marino?
No. That's not Dan Marino.
No. You didn't watch Dan Marino then?
No, I did watch Dan Marino. Dan Marino had a ridiculous. Hold on, you're a liar. Dan Marino had such great pocket presence. He moved, and even when he lost a leg, Achilles, he still moved and evaded and bought time in the pocket. And then had a ridiculous release.
What he bought was half a second. He wasn't running out of the pocket, dude. He never ran out of the pocket. He might have done that in his career like 10 times where he ran out of the pocket. Marino made his decision in the pocket right away or threw it away.
But he bought time in the pocket.
He was never going to take a sack, and he didn't take ridiculous hits. And if you're Tua Tagovailoa, you must understand you cannot afford to take any hit. Get rid of the football. He did it for a couple of weeks, Omar. And in that same game against Green Bay,
he didn't change his game one bit.
No, he did. He did. He was getting rid of the football. In that same game, he held on to another football, and he fumbled it, and then Rob Hunt recovered it. And he almost got injured because he was kind of twisted up in that moment. And
Dan Marino got sacked more than 20 times, 4 times in his career.
I told you that. He doesn't hang on to the ball, Omar, and he wasn't buying any Major time. He slid a foot or two one way, a foot or two the other way, a foot or two forward, and that's it, dude. He made a decision. He picked the guy and let it fly, or he threw it right out of bounds when the play was going to die. That he never took a sack and he never took extra hits for no reason at all. What they should do, as I've said before here, what they need to do is create a 7,000 play video of Marino, not 700, 7,000 throws out of bounds. So he can watch how one of the greatest quarterbacks had no time to take a hit or a sack ever.
Yeah, but he also had a ridiculous cannon and a quick release that allowed him
and a radar. His radar was amazing.
And great phenomenal pocket presence.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Like you name me another one. Name me another one like that.
Like that?
Not even Elway.
Elway can move. Remember, Elway was an athlete. Elway was a freaking
I'm saying I can't name you another quarterback like that. Not
Elway didn't need that extra sense.
Not a Manning
move.
Probably
Montana was pretty good with great pocket presence. He would get rid of it before you were right on his ass. He was pretty good
at the quick release.
No. He didn't have the cannon, but he didn't need it because he was smart. He had anticipatory skills. That's what I think Lefty is. I think Lefty is Montana, but he's got to be smarter. He's got to get rid of the damn football, bro. You know, you got to understand who you are, Omar. And
you got to understand who he is. That's his game.
Fire hydrant. He's not fire hydrant Russell Wilson, and he's not skyscraper Josh Allen. So if you're not built either way, well then, brother, come on, man. Drew Brees wasn't rolling out or anything, brother. He was stepping into the pocket a step or two and getting rid of it, and that's it. He has to play the same game as those kind of guys. No athleticism, and stay in that pocket and live from there. But once you get out, you're going to die. And that's what's proven over and over again for him because he's not Mahomes and he's not those kind of guys. And I don't know what it is, bro. I don't know if it's because he hears everybody talk about it, and so he says, no, I can do that. And now he wants to go out and do it. You know, it's like, oh, he can't throw the deep ball. No team throws more deep balls than the Dolphins. The craziest shit, what he couldn't do, he does better than everyone else in the league and more often than everybody else in the league.
That's a very good point.
It's crazy. No, but this is who he is. He hears all this shit. So he wants to prove you wrong or something. And instead,
I don't think that's it. I think that's more. I'm trying to look up now who's thrown more 40-yard passes. That's a interesting stat. Like 40. I think the NFL provides that.
I'm sure they do, and I'm sure it's the Dolphins.
No. I'm talking about quarterbacks. Damn it! I hate when I can't find what stat I'm looking for. But yeah, and there we go. NFL 20-yard pass, 40-yard passes. Let's see. Patrick Mahomes and Tua have thrown 12 apiece. So,
there you go.
And Tua has thrown 50 20-yard plus passes. Mahomes has thrown 66. It's very interesting.
Completed or thrown?
Completed.
Okay.
And there are only four quarterbacks: Mahomes, Goff, Lawrence, and Hurts, who've thrown more 20-yard passes. That's interesting. No, I'm sorry, 3, because Hurts has thrown the same amount as Tua.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Jalen. He's done a really nice job of improving his accuracy. That kid has really worked on it overall. I don't know about Justin Fields if he's there yet, and definitely Lamar is not ever going to be there. But really impressed with Hurts, bro. If that kid's athleticism goes with accuracy,
yeah,
that's some scary stuff, dude. That's some scary stuff, and that's what's going to happen in the next 10 or 15, 20 years from now. we're going to have more. We're developing them down the line, and that's going to happen more. That we're going to have more athletic guys that can actually have the pinpoint accuracy. That's the next level that's coming now with quarterbacks, but it'll be later on as it
I'm
takes a little
curious
while
what you're
to develop
saying.
that.
I don't necessarily buy that, but I will.
Well, it's where we're going. It's what they're trying to do in college and in high school, and that's what's going to affect us here in the NFL.
Athletic
Because
quarterbacks with accuracy.
look at the college game. It's now in the NFL. That's how much
Yeah.
it's influenced. Now all that spread and all that, and the
RPO.
RPOs and all that stuff. It's influenced the hell out of the NFL because it's harder to find certain positions now. Shit, they don't even run block anymore like they used to in college. And so it's a lot harder for scouts nowadays to really figure out if somebody can actually run block. They
need to
see
find
pass
some
blocking right
linebackers.
off they know pass blocking, but run blocking, like there's a lot of teams that draft guys and they're not really sure if a guy's a good run blocker. They're
Find tight ends that
positive
can actually
about whether
block.
huh? What?
Find tight ends that can actually block.
Well, no, that's rare as it is. They don't make a lot of those anyways, as it is. All right. So what do you think happens with Teddy keeping it steady now for the next couple of weeks? He's got a full week of practice. What do you
Yeah.
think happens?
Remember the last time he had a full week of practice, he lasted one play, or was it one
Yeah, I know,
series?
but that wasn't his fault because he wasn't
Yeah, but
really
I'm just saying a lot of people are down on Teddy, but like the man, when he's been in the game, he's taken over for Tua. He hasn't practiced with the first team offense all week. The game plan isn't specifically catered to him. And then when he gets a week of practice in, he's last one play and then he's done. I know he's coming back from an injury, but I believe in Teddy. I buy Teddy. I buy stock in Teddy. Teddy's led a team to the playoffs. So
does he win this week? That's the important part, Omar.
On
Does
the
he win
road
this
in New England,
Yeah, two tough
considering the way that
defenses,
they're
bro. New
playing
England and the
lately.
Jets. Yeah, neither offense scares you, but both defenses are very good. I think they're
What are
both
you
top
talking about?
10.
Neither offense scares you. Miami's offense scares me. Should
No, dude,
scare.
I'm talking about New England and the Jets. I'm talking about New England and the Jets offense don't scare you. But
Yeah.
the real challenge against New England and the Jets is going to be
Chief.
facing their top 10 defenses, is my point.
Absolutely.
That's my point. So it's Teddy against those top 10 defenses. What do you think about Teddy against the Patriots?
I think he gives them just as much of a chance as any other quarterback that's not named Tua Tagovailoa. I think he's just as capable as any quarterback that's led the Dolphins within the last 20 years, with the exception of Chad Pennington. I don't see any reason why they can't win. It's in a hostile territory. I'm probably a little bit scared of the environment and the weather and what comes with it, but I don't see anything. I don't see any reason Teddy shouldn't be able to lead them to a victory. Playoffs are on the line. This is a legacy-defining game.
All right, tell them about I Am Athlete. What do you got going on, my man?
Yeah, we're launching a live I Am Athlete. We already do the radio show on Sirius channel 82, 7 to 9, and we're launching a live element of it that will be ready to go in January, early January, for YouTube. Right.
So check it out at I Am Athlete. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. And of course, check out our friends at Essential Moving Experts. If you need to move anywhere in the country, from one state to another, from one city to another, from one county to another, you need to move your office building, everything, they can do it all. And by the way, if you're moving long distance and maybe where you're moving, they're not ready yet, they can also store all of your goods up to a month on the house. So call the great people at Essential Moving Experts, 305-602-8369. Omar, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a fantastic week, and we will catch up next week.
Yep, not a single word on defense either. We just
no defense did everything possible this week to win. Unfortunately, they like always, they give their team a chance to win, and the offense has to finish it out, and the offense couldn't finish it out. What can I tell you, Omar? They've been
Not
consistent all year. They just give
consistently
you
mediocre.
But they never give up the game. They always keep you in the game every single time. Can't ask for more than that. They got the late turnover against Buffalo last week. 3rd and 1. The coach wants to abandon the run. We can't do anything about that, bro. That's it's up to McDaniel and the offense to get it done. So we shall see. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. All right. See you later. And Happy New Year, Omar. That is your essentialmovingexperts.com Miami Dolphins report.